the 5 p.m. Planning Commission meeting, November 14th. Please take the roll.
John Gwynn,
Here.
Andy Shoemaker,
Here.
Merlin Callhammer, absent. Bob Smith,
Here.
John Gable is
Here.
absent. Oh, here. Gene Friggs,
Present.
and Brock Fleischer is absent.
All right.
Quorum is present.
Quorum is present. Perfect. Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Are there any citizen comments tonight? No citizen comments. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the September 28th meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Oh, second.
All right. Brings has seconded. Smith made the motion. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, discuss with possible action proposed improvements to the St. John's Evangelical Lutheran Church. Proposed improvements are to the school site located at 520 Bridge Street.
So in your packet should be what I received or what the mayor and I received for their proposed development. Is there anybody here for the, okay. I don't know, still having them step up to the podium now?
Yeah, would you like to step to the podium and just give kind of an overview?
So the plan before you is to add a new playground. That's the first thing that we wanted to do. And then also our early child care center is getting too small. So we were looking to build a youth center and early childhood center for daycare. As you can see up in the corner there of Dayton Street. We also are looking at putting a admin little addition onto the school and gym, and then a new parking lot for drop off and pick up, so there's less traffic on Bridge Street. So we wanted to come before you guys just to start having the discussion and making sure that, you know, as we proceed forward, that you guys are all on the same page with us and there's no hiccups along the way.
Had there been any consideration on the water runoff and such? It is a difficult place there to start with.
That is for sure. So we have been working with, so MSA did our surveying. Right now we will be in contact with some civil engineers to work on how we can do some flood mitigation down there and for the school purpose. And, you know, as we install the new playground and everything, making sure that we mitigate, you know, flooding as much as possible.
Yeah, this new green space over here off the gym, that's gonna really help with the flooding because we won't have a parking lot there then.
Correct. So what we
So that's gonna, it already was always wet, so that'd be nice that way.
our plan there is to have like outdoor classroom. So the kids can do some outdoor classes out in that space. We're gonna take out that old parking lot and have that for education purposes.
Did you say you were working with MSA to develop or you
MSA
haven't
was-
got?
MSA did our surveying of the property because we also purchased some property from Bill Milky. So they were doing the survey and the CSM for us on that. But we have not picked our civil engineer yet.
Do you have any idea of the square feet of new parking versus the old parking that you're taking out?
No, that I don't know at the moment.
Bigger, smaller?
It's gonna be bigger than the current parking lot that's down there now.
That's going to be one thing you'll have to take a look at because you're going to have to file an NOI with the DNR for anything over an acre for land disturbed. and have to do some stormwater mitigation, which might be retention pond. That would have to be taken a look at, so just
Like I said,
something to
yeah,
keep in
as our
mind.
Civil engineer, yes.
Yep,
so
yep.
that would be- You know, we've had discussions with your guys' MSA consultant, and he pointed a few things out to us already, so.
It should be a lot safer with the parking lot, with the traffic flowing in and out.
Oh, I
Pickups and
believe so,
drop-offs
yeah,
and
that'd
everything
be a
else.
big
Yeah, yeah.
improvement, I think.
You use a lot of parking on the other side of Bridge Street.
Right.
Yeah, the Muzzy
People
parking
had to
lot.
cross Bridge Street.
You know, we want to make it as safe as possible for all the kids that are coming as the school has been growing.
Yeah, to pick up and deliver, and buses would be all off the street.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's no action for us to take, except we're waiting for a site plan.
Mhm.
And then the next step would be site plan approval, but like Nick said, you have to offset the hard surfaces with runoff and so forth.
Another thing would be city utilities there too.
Hmm.
There's sanitary and storm running underneath that property, so.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons we thought, you know, a parking lot there versus putting the playground there.
Mhm.
Because then, you know, you guys could tear up our new playground and it's a little easier to dig up a blacktop versus a playground.
Mhm.
Patrick, appreciate you coming in.
I think we'll keep you posted as we move forward.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right, item number 6, discuss and approve an extraterritorial minor land division located in the town of Theresa, parcel 042-1217-1831-000. Owner is Lila Vanderloop.
Yes.
Would you like to step up to the podium?
Basically, what we're doing is we just want to separate the farm and the buildings into about a 4.5 acre plot. And the rest of the farmland will remain as farmland and be agricultural.
Now, I've had a chance to review the CSM and I'll be in touch with the surveyor. There's a couple just small little notes.
Okay.
Nothing substantial. The one thing we have to discuss though is they are looking to have this 4 acres zoned residential. And with the city's current extraterritorial requirements, they can only have up to 2 acres zoned residential within the extraterritorial review district. So that means we can do one of 3 things. They could either file for a hardship and go through that process with the city. They could, I guess, own it something different, or they could split the lots. Have a 2 acre lot residential and have the remainder agricultural. They have the farm buildings that way.
Yes, in the past, this comes up quite often, and you can't, generally, there's a tough time getting all the outbuildings from a farm operation onto the new residential lot. We have some latitude with that, we have stretched that out beyond the 2 acres, but generally, we try and keep as close to the 2 acres as possible. I don't know if anybody else has this is a quite common thing.
Yeah.
Fortunately for you, you're alongside the road, so you don't have a problem with driveway or anything like that. I think there's a way to get this done, but I don't know. Nick, you'd have to, yes,
The ci-
2 lots is fine, or what size lot do they need to fit all the outbuildings?
Looking at it, it looks like it'd be just over 2 acres.
Generally, what we do is we have, then there's a potential for a second lot down the road for residential later on. But generally, what we do is limit it to 1 lot, 1 residential lot that's roughly 2 acres. Our ordinance says 2 acres, but I don't, we generally are pretty accommodating. Uh, I don't know if we want to go all the way to 4.5 acres though.
Because we met with because it's Township of Russell, we're next to Mayville, so we met with them and they approved, so
That's
I'm just trying to understand.
generally what happens. You generally get the approval from the township that you're in, and then you need approval from the county and the extraterritorial authority, any overlapping authority. We have that. Purposes so that we don't have competing or zoning that is not compatible with the expansion of the city. We have made allowances for that, but that's the way the ordinance reads, so we can't, I mean, we could probably change the extraterritorial ordinance, but not just for this purpose.
Okay.
So generally, the farms who split off, generally it's for a son or, a relative to buy the house, and then the farmland stays, in the separate parcel. Generally, there's a way to get it done. I don't know who else they could talk to Don a little bit. Don's familiar with this, he's done it a number of times.
Yeah, I would talk to Don, but I would believe we have to go through the variance process to go
Right.
and get this.
Right, we would anyway, if it's above 2 acres, but
Mhm.
we have shown compassion for these things.
Mhm.
Generally, the need is generally to fit all the buildings on it and so forth and so on. We generally don't make it any bigger than it needs to be, to accommodate your purpose. But, that's been our experience.
Is that house existing on this?
Yes, the house and the farm buildings are all existing.
Everything is existing,
Yes, everything is existing.
and you want this,
Additional area for the
yeah,
Yeah.
farm, or the little field there.
Much,
so
it's the farm buildings and then the little, like, essentially cash area and the part of the building.
you got the house with your septic mound behind it
Yes,
and the shed,
yes,
and then you want to combine the barn and the shed into one, but then you have this large area.
right, that's where the cow pasture was, and then it goes down a hill, there's a hill right there, so it's to the bottom of the hill.
Is there a reason why that has to be included, and not farmland?
It was, the person that rents the land now, the hill is too steep to really farm easily, so we were just gonna leave it with the farm buildings to be pasture in the future.
But it would look like if you split this lot 1 diagram here, it'd be about 2 and 2 roughly. The whole thing is 4 acres.
Correct, right,
4.5 acres. So if you went just outside of the barn and shed, and left that pasture as agricultural, is there a reason why you don't want to do that?
we were just, both of my parents passed away this year, so we were just looking, one of the siblings wanted to take over the building and keep the homestead essentially, and the rest of it would just be agricultural land, so just,
Would it be cheaper on the taxes by splitting this? Keep this off the house?
I'm looking at this one.
For sure.
There might be a way, we have
With that,
gone as high as 2.5 acres. Generally, our extraterritorial ordinance allows us to create residential lots in the extraterritorial area up to 2 acres and not larger. So we can accommodate that, but you have to ask, there has to be some need there, especially because it's not able to be farmed. I don't know if that's enough.
I'm sure we have a lot of land that's not able to be farmed, but still zoned agricultural.
Mhm.
May I ask a question?
Okay.
So we're talking, it's going residential. Can it remain agricultural? Would the lot be able to stay at 4.5 acres then?
Yeah.
Does it have to switch to residential?
The city code reads that they cannot have a residential lot more than 2 acres. So if it's,
What I'm asking is, can it
if it
remain
stayed ag,
agricultural?
then I don't think then it would.
I believe you could. There might be a problem with, there might be other problems, I don't think they're,
You'd end up having to meet the town at the rest of zoning then
Right.
for that, and then I don't know if they're gonna allow a 4-acre ag property.
but that's a good question, and
I'm just
probably,
curious.
yeah, if you don't need it to be residential, that's probably, you know, that would be up to the town of Teresa. They're aware of our extraterritorial ordinance, they generally they generally approve it and then send you on to us.
Yeah, I thought when we had the meeting there that they had approved it as ag. I was confused when you guys brought residential up tonight.
As part of the packet, it was noted that it was gonna be rezoned residential.
When they're in Dressa, they had it where they had to rezone it from all the rest of the farmers staying in A1, and then that 4-acre parcel was gonna be like A2 is what they,
Okay, so they decided on ag 2, not the residential that was noted on the application.
right,
Okay,
that's what it was.
That could make a difference.
yeah,
It says rezoning the newly formed activated parcel from A1 farmland to A2 general ag. And then the remaining 38 of that parcel will be made as A1 farmland preservation.
I don't think that would violate our extraterritorial.
nope, then that went.
Now, I don't know if that satisfies the zoning for the town of Teresa, if you're gonna have
Well, you stated that you got his approval already.
Leave that A2, or make it A2.
If they rezoned as A2, and the rest of it would remain as A1.
So were we thinking it was single family residential because on this minor land division form it was marked off single?
Yes,
Right.
So
who made the application?
Brad,
Meridian Surveying, who did the CSM as part of this.
Maybe he did that.
so he merged it.
All right.
Okay.
Can we proceed with the motion to approve without having the letter of intent form corrected first?
Or contingent on
Or can we approve it
Well, I
contingent
think-
upon?
We can approve, deny, or no recommendation, so if you approve, you can make the comments. As
Approved
long as
subject
it's
to,
A2,
Approve it contingent on
The
verification.
application says residential. You can, I don't know what we can do.
because his deadline is November 20th from the Dodge County.
application's
I would
wrong.
think, yeah, I would think you could do a conditional approval citing that zoning, current zoning or proposed zoning would have to be verified to be agricultural too. And then it meets the city standards.
Would somebody like to make a motion?
And there's a couple of small notes, but I'll take care of that with the surveyor then too.
The small ones we can.
It's just a couple notes. There's, like, they don't have the right of way noted and stuff like
Okay.
that, stuff that's,
I'll make that motion, conditional on the application being deemed an agricultural split rather than residential.
Thank you, Bob Smith. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Shoemaker. Is there any further discussion? Please take the roll.
John Gwynn,
Aye.
Andy Shoemaker,
Aye.
Bob Smith,
Aye.
John Gable,
Aye.
Gene Friggs.
Aye.
Motion is passed.
All right. Thank you. Item number 7, discuss and approve site plan review for parcel 251, 1216, 1412, 007, located on Hilltop Drive and owned by Thomas Lekowitz. Oh, hi, come on up.
So in your packet, there should be a review letter for the site plan. There were a couple of things that were needed yet to be submitted, mainly to do with parking, lighting, and then grading for the site. Let's see. I believe it's on the second and third page, the conclusion and recommendations. looking for paving plans, driveway approaches, also exterior and lighting and landscaping. Were you gonna have any kind of, were they gonna be lights on the building, or was it gonna be kind of parking lot lights with the,
I was gonna have like exterior lights on the outside of the building facing the lot.
okay. So typically with those, we don't need the photometric plan.
This is, did you get together with Mr. Hockers and work out?
Yeah, we got that worked already. The next time John Moss is gonna be in town, he told me if he could draft up a letter and all that.
Okay, but you didn't work out your differences about the,
No, we're fine. I just need to make sure my, choices need to review everything before.
okay.
So,
And you
Yeah,
both
you're
use
aware of
John
that-
Moss.
That
Yeah.
arrangement with Mr. Hockers?
For the drainage ditch along the back of the property, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
and then I was actually gonna ask another question about relating to drainage ditches. According to John's plan, he has an east and west ditch as well that he recommended I use to also divert runoff.
Mhm.
And I was gonna see if, right now, there's a 10-foot easement on either side. So I was gonna see if the ditch could be moved to the lot line, so it's not just, it would benefit the lot as other lots as well.
Yep, I have talked to Don. Currently, that's going through a plat review with the DOA as part of the Hawkers development. In order to do that and change easements, then it starts the whole DOA process over, and that is a 4-week review process. So, and Hawkers, they want to get going, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, he told me that he'll be in town at some point. He could have.
That can be
I asked him if I could go there and sign for good. He just said it late, so.
And I talked to Don about it, and that is something that if the city's willing, we could work out after the fact and establish easements along that property line for drainage.
Yeah, that's good.
As long as we're all headed in the same direction, we don't wanna, you don't wanna stop the DOA's review because
Takes a while.
it'll, might be after first of the year. but-
Oh, it would be, yeah.
So what are our choices?
Well, like I said, there's some of the grading and paving details that we need. We'll have to bring Jack in and Courtney in for utilities and driveways out there. And then, like it's noted on the review letter, erosion control and stuff like that would have to be up before the meeting. It can be a conditional approval as long as the conclusion and recommendations are met and satisfied as part of, like I said, we'll need some sort of paving plan and grading for the site. I know there was some of that, but I didn't really see anything with the plan for the parking lot and,
I was gonna say too, I was talking to him about whether I need to pave that or not. There's an ordinance apparently that says that I would need to actually pave that. I was originally planning on just having gravel or crushed asphalt just to cut down costs to start out.
mhm.
And then as well, I don't mean to bring this up in any way, shape, or form, throwing shade at other businesses or whatever, but there are other businesses in that same industrial park existing right now that have large gravel areas that are not paved.
I would have to talk to Rob and see what see how the ordinance
Volcano
reads.
Place has a lot of gravel on it.
Yeah, I think the other storage place too across the street
There's
there
a
on River
storage
Knoll.
place, there's actually a
Storage place, it's all
industrial
gravel.
plant right across the street from me. And then John also mentioned that the Dodge County Highway building has a big gravel or some kind of.
Yeah, I don't know if they filed for a variance or that would be one process to go through, I guess, if the city would grant a variance for not putting in asphalt there.
They said exceptions, it said on the ordinance that exceptions can be made if you do like a dust test or something every once in a while. Make sure
Right, and there's a treatment you can have to keep the dust down.
Yeah.
If you agree to that kind of thing.
I can ask.
Or you can oil it, I guess. But are you anxious to get going, or is this Hockers who's anxious?
Yeah, like I said, I'm not trying to hold them up or anything. I just wanted to take my time with the whole easement thing. You know, I just gotta make sure I'm not really trying to hold anybody up.
So some conditional approval of the site plan meeting
Correct.
your, might work for you, you're not anxious to.
Yeah, I mean, I was planning on going, like, actually, like, starting construction probably spring of this upcoming year, so it's not like super time sensitive. I just figured I'd get the site plan approved and get all this kind of stuff out of the way.
Okay.
Or, you know, so then I could just, put our building permit out, maybe start going.
Sure.
Well, is it premature, Nick, to do some,
Sounds like quite a list
Pre-approval?
of subject twos.
Well,
And unless you have them laid out precisely tonight,
okay.
I would
Well, I mean,
suggest we've got
we-
time. Let's take our time and make sure that we
uh,
get it done right and then reconvene.
it's our
For approval.
intent to approve the
Yeah,
project,
yeah.
especially if you get along with, get, and it, you don't need any approval right now, we just want you to know we're on board with this, and you're on board with it, so you keep working with who you are. We could do the same thing we did for the other one, but you're not, it really doesn't matter, right? You just want to, right, just keep the communication going.
Just kind of approve it at a later date.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we intend to
I-
approve it
Yeah.
based on,
What do you see right now?
yeah, based on, and. if
I can get,
issues.
I can get the site plan review letter to you and to John then, so you can try to address these items then that we have.
Planning on that.
Yep.
Also, you did mention that there's a fee, a $200 fee for the site plan review.
Yep.
I can get that check to you guys tonight.
Sure. I'll get it to Sarah in the morning.
Thanks for coming in.
Should I come back for the next meeting or?
I guess be in touch with me and I'll get you on the agenda. Need to let me know 2 weeks in advance. I believe the next one is, what is the second Monday in December?
It will be December 12th.
I believe that's the date we were shooting for
Yes,
the
it
next
is.
meeting.
It's
Okay.
on the city calendar.
Okay, so I would
Monday,
need it
December 12th.
2 weeks in advance, so end of the month then if you,
Yeah, I'll talk to John
Plan.
and see what he says.
Okay.
I would follow up with Nick and Don about gravel and what you'd have to do.
See, that's how I kind of was just curious about the whole gravel situation.
okay.
Looking at
There's
other sites out there, I don't see where gravel's gonna be a big problem.
And then my final question, I guess, would be about utilities. So right now, there's no utilities to the lot line.
Mhm.
But it does say in my purchase agreement that the city would provide utilities, sewer, water, element to the lot line except the lot.
Was that supplied by the realtor?
I think so, yeah, I have a picture of it, or like a copy of the whole purchase agreement. You know, in the vacant land disclosure report, there's obviously nothing there, but I think it's like the final purchase document, where it does say utilities provided that lot, so.
Yeah, I talked to Courtney and no utility stubs were stubbed out there
Well, that's
as
what I
far
mean,
as
there's
we could
nothing currently
find.
there, but
Yeah,
there was an agreement to get that,
I would have to talk to the realtor and see who we talked to for confirmation on
I
that.
can show you that document.
Yeah, get them a copy of that.
I can email
Yeah.
it to you.
That'd be great. All righty.
But
Thanks.
that's my last question.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
Thank you. Good luck. Yeah, good luck.
All right, next item, discuss and approve site plan review for the addition to Dr. Dan Stevens dentist office located at 1766 Horicon Street, parcel number 251, 1216, 2214, 014.
So for this one, we also,
Go ahead.
nope, that's. So this one we also were able to complete I guess that didn't get sent out. So we were able to complete a site plan review. There are a couple of items that we are looking to have addressed. I guess if you want to go through and just kind of do a overview of what the project is, and if they have any questions here, I'll look at the.
Great, thank you for having me. Chad Ferguson with Keller Incorporated. We are the design builder for Dr. Dan Stevens. As you see in your packet, that's a He is proposing a 1,600 square foot addition and extensive renovation to the contemplated he recently purchased from Dr. Burkett. Just briefly, Dr. Stevens has been in the community for a while, has committed to the community. We have provided some renderings, which you have in your packet. We've been trying to show some upgrades to the exterior, and I think we accomplished that. Working within the setbacks, it's a challenging site, but we worked well together with that. And also some significant upgrades on the interior as well. So with that being said, it's just kind of a brief overview of that. I also want to turn it over to Alex with Excel Engineering, who's our civil engineer, to go through some of the details of the project in regards to the site.
Great.
Hi guys, thank you for your time. So before you guys should have the site plan for Dr. Dan Stevens Family Dental. Some of the high overview there, it is the 1,600 square foot addition with the additional pavement for the parking, additional 10 spots to meet the site's parking requirements, as well as the projected from Dr. Dan Stevens, what he projects he will need for parking there. The existing drainage of the site, the bases have been matched to have the site drain over a sheet flow to the existing bases to the west and bases to the south where the site currently drains. There is increased impervious on this site. The landscaping and the setting of the building has been matched, or has been done to match the existing with the landscaping around the sides. There's an additional 4 downspouts to the building. We're within the 50-foot building setback from the right-of-way of the road. And then you'll see the utility easement on the south side of the lot. Wisconsin Bell, I believe, currently Wisconsin AT&T. We reached out to them and we got written permission for there to be paving over the existing utilities there. No new sewer, water, or sanitary on site. And then there is the possibility for the alternate dumpster on the northwest corner of the lot, and demo sign and new sign on the north side by the
Okay, so part of the site plan review letter that Don put together was to notify the city if they decide to go with that alternate bid for the dumpster enclosure. They also have in here that a permit would be required for relocating the sign, so you'd have to go through Rob Froh with the building inspection to get that. And I believe I talked to Lisa to get confirmation about being within that 50-foot setback from the DOT.
Yep. So we've been in contact with the DOT, and they said they enforce whatever is on the CSM documents, and they said 50-foot, the 50-foot setback in there, and the 50-foot setback is a city ordinance one, and
Okay.
it's a 50-foot structure is one, so it's one that Mayville has imposed, and so they would enforce whatever Mayville will impose. It's a 50-foot from the, actually the way it reads from the code is from the street, and on the plans we have it 50 feet from the setback. So if anything, you would gain some extra frontage there if you were to go from the street instead of the right of way.
Okay.
So.
And then it was, let's see. That erosion control specifications 31-30-00 and detail sheets be adhered to throughout the project. So yeah, just the erosion control measures. And you said you had written confirmation with the DOT for being in that, well, it's they adhere to the city setbacks, so, okay. And that was pretty much it that they had for recommendations and conclusions for it, unless there was something else that the Plan Commission would like to have.
I think it looks pretty complete, but I do have something for you to address as far as the city is concerned on the,
Okay.
on the, you see the northeast corner. You come around the curve there by where, if you were going straight east, you head to the Piggly Wiggly parking lot.
Mhm.
Right at that corner, there's an annual problem that comes from I guess they never could find the source of it, but up by the clinic, it floods there, all spring. And they checked it out, and it's treated water. So ask Courtney or,
So that driveway and the utilities running into that property is all private. So
I
unless,
understand, but it's the city's though, right? There is a flooding on the corner, so we have to check to see if that's been resolved. if it
Sure,
runs down
yep,
to there.
sure.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
I don't know if anybody remembers that.
The ice there.
Yeah, it's always ice there, and we had it checked out, it comes out right to the east of the clinic parking lot, comes bubbling up out of the ground. And, they were gonna try and get it fixed, but they couldn't figure it out, and 2 years ago. Just, as long as we're looking at this, we wanna make sure that he doesn't have, see that whole corner, get glare ice. And I don't think that would be good for his property there. Gene, you remember that, right?
Which corner is this?
The northeast corner, when you're coming here towards down from the clinic this way,
Yeah.
the ditch gets full of water, and the whole corner gets,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Yeah,
becomes-
it's worse over towards the back of, those apartments have the
Right,
driveway around the back. of
They-
Piggly Wiggly.
they found out where it comes
Yeah,
from,
yeah.
it comes from a water connection or a hydrant at the top of the hill, just on the east end of the clinic, right on the grass there, comes bubbling up out of there in the middle of winter. So
Only
we'll have to make sure
Only
that.
at certain times of the year?
Let's
Yeah.
This
just
happens?
check with Courtney
I'll
on
have to
that.
check with Courtney, but I believe
What's
that
that?
hydrant is considered private because it's outside the right of way. But yeah, I would have to check with Courtney
I don't
and
think- no, they
see
hadn't
what the,
Determined that it came from the hydrant, they determined it comes down the curve actually, along that drive, along that roadway. And,
We'll check with Courtney.
yeah,
And goes down.
Do you have your subject tos, your conditions well documented?
yeah, I can send out this site plan review that was completed.
Okay.
There wasn't much, like I said, those were what I mentioned were the conclusions and recommendations. So,
you could also check with Jack to see if, it was a big problem, sending the city crew up there to ice it all the time, because the previous tenants were going with.
sure.
I see the signs been pulled over. and
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, the plan looks good.
Yep. Plan looks good. Are we? Is anybody prepared to make a motion to approve subject to?
Yeah, did you find anything? It was put together in a hurry. Usually-
Yeah, it was put together in a very big hurry, yep.
I looked at it, I couldn't find anything, and I thought somebody must have worked overnight on this for the news.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion by Springs, second by Gable. Any further discussion? Take the roll.
Around the spring or just get now, okay.
All right, take the roll.
Yep. John Gwynn,
Aye.
Andy Shoemaker.
Aye.
Merlin Culhammer is gone. Bob Smith.
Aye.
John Gable.
Aye.
Gene Friggs.
Aye.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Hey,
When do you hope to start on this?
Yeah, new construction started in the spring, we'll do the addition and then coming back, they'll do the renovation.
Great.
Goal is to at least have the addition done by July. This is bringing on a new associate, so it's date sensitive, so thank you for your.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Thanks for coming in.
Very nice.
Yep. All right, the next item, Nick, are we waiting for anything on this before we can proceed?
On number 9,
Number 9,
Yes.
minimum residential. Okay, can I get a motion to table while we work with city attorney?
yeah, Rob is looking to prepare some language and then working with the city attorney for that.
I make a motion to table number 9.
All right, motion by Shoemaker,
I'll second.
second by Springs. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That item is tabled. Do we have what we need on the fence ordinance?
The fence ordinance was, I believe, Shoemaker, was it your
So we're-
district that somebody had to issue a complaint? Or,
No,
No, that was
it's
up
from, it's up over this
right,
way.
that was in Joe Reese's district.
Reese's, okay.
Oh, that way you meant.
I think it was, had to do with those white plastic fences.
No.
No, no,
the
if
picture's in
you
your
look,
packet.
yeah, if you,
Before we proceed, I just want to know, do we have everything we need? Do we need to table this, or you'd mentioned there were a couple of things we're waiting on legal on?
well, this was, do you want to add anything into the ordinance to talk
Alright.
about materials?
Very good. Okay, so item number 10, discuss with possible action a change to the city's fence ordinance to address fence materials. You look in your packet, there's some photographs of a fence that was erected. Apparently, somebody filed a complaint with the city, doesn't like the appearance of it. So the question to the planning commission is, do we want to look at adopting changes to our fence standards?
Was the
So-
building permit even taken on this?
Yes, so they took out a
Looks like
building
it's less than
permit.
3 feet away from the property line even.
As far as I know, I believe that it was in compliance. I would have to talk with Rob regarding
It is a
that.
3 foot, right? to the property
Yes, yep.
Yes.
line? 'Cause it looks like it's less than 3 feet to the driveway, just driving past it once.
So it's
Well,
in
drive-
compliance as far as materials go too?
There is nothing in the ordinance regarding materials. So when they applied for it, from my understanding with Rob Fro, was they submitted some information for a chain link company. Well, evidently they must use that chain link and then used wood for the post headers and
Oh.
footers, and then must have stapled it to the chain link to the wood structure.
There's no material stipulation in the ordinance, no real construction stipulation.
Correct. And right now, Rob just reviews the building or the permit application for that fence. And as long as it's within setbacks, height requirements and stuff like that, he approves it, as long as it meets the current standard.
So Andy raised a good point. I'm looking at the picture and it does look like it is like a foot off of the
Off the
neighboring
driveway.
driveway.
Driveway is different though than a setback or
Okay.
building line, yeah, or the
So-
property
Well,
line.
Wouldn't that be the property line? Or is
The-
the property line in the middle of the next door neighbor's driveway?
It would technically be in
If you look
compliance
in this
because
last
you have to
picture.
allow on the side facing the neighbor, you have to allow for, you have to have space to mow
Mhm.
next to the fence. And I think it's a foot and a half.
So the-
3 foot
the-
per city, yeah.
The fence is in compliance with current city ordinance. Is anybody in favor of enacting or adopting an ordinance discussing or stipulating materials? I'm not really excited about that.
You start that,
Yeah.
we've got,
Yep.
I happen to know one where they fenced it with doors.
Okay.
Rob
It's
said-
Very attractive.
Rob said he's got a property over in Juneau. They use pallets.
Okay.
They stacked pallets and stapled them together,
So.
and that was the fence.
In the interest of time, I would entertain a motion to table or to take no action
I
whatsoever.
make a motion, we take no action.
Motion by Gable.
Okay.
Anyone second?
I'll second
Second by Smith. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay.
Saying,
And abstain.
just want to be different.
it. You are.
You are that. All
So,
right. Did that carry? We got the votes? We got the votes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see both sides of it.
Item number 11.
And
Are we
that,
waiting for something from
Yes.
legal? Okay,
Yeah.
so could I take a motion, get a motion on item 11 regarding Airbnbs to table pending?
or did you want to just take that off the agenda?
All right, so the question to the planning commission is, do we want to take action on an Airbnb ordinance?
I put this on the
Is this a
agenda
problem?
because there was all this commotion. But in the 2 years since this has been brought up, the state has passed regulations brought on by the real estate industry that curtail any action that cities can take.
Really?
The town of, next to Lake Michigan there was a town, I forget the name of it. They passed an ordinance requiring owners to be within 35 miles, that they had a limit on how many they could have in a building. Well, this was all challenged by the real estate industry, and the state of Wisconsin has since passed the state law that only allows a very little that the city can do. So if our attorney is looking into it to see what we can do, that's better, but they pretty much took it out of the city's hands to regulate Airbnbs, other than you can require them to have temporary rental license.
Is it Jared
can't
or
require
is it
residency.
Nolan who's looking at this?
I believe I mentioned it to Jared, but I would have to follow up with him. I didn't get him.
So I would say
I would have to follow up with Jared and
Okay.
see if he had looked into it at all.
perhaps
It was
suggest,
a feature article 2 months ago, it's a municipality. Where they brought up the fact that the state legislature has pretty much, they took this town of, on Lake Michigan to the south of us. They took them, or no, to the north of us. And they took them to, appeals court. And the only thing left is they can get a license and they can't regulate.
Sometimes make people charge
Like
extra
the amount
to
of
go to the
days?
city,
So-
like a room or a rental.
You can get a short-term rental license, but you can't
They
limit
charge
the
each
number of
individual
days
person.
that they can be rented. You can't require on premises.
Tourist fees.
Yeah.
they call it.
what I would suggest, we've got the attorney looking into it.
Right.
I would
Make a motion to
suggest,
table it.
thank you.
Yeah.
Motion to table,
Yeah,
Shoemaker,
we need to hear a little more information.
is that a second?
I'll second
A
this.
second by Frings, any further discussion? All in favor? Do we need to, take the roll on a table?
I don't think
No,
so.
all right, all in favor?
No.
Aye. Opposed?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn,
Second.
second.
I think you
All in
made the motion.
favor? Yeah, Frings made the motion, Shoemaker seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Okay. And then we need to end stream.
I didn't take notes, I did my mic.
Don't have it yet. You gotta get me in there.